Hey guys, welcome to Young Money. I'm Nozi Pombandra. Today, I'm finding myself in probably one of the most colorful boardrooms that I have ever been in. We're at Barclays Africa in Sandton, and we're here to catch up with the CEO of YGMC. It's a consulting firm, but the owner and the founder, the CEO, the head guy in charge, is also running his own corporate career here at Barclays. How do these two reconcile? We'll find out from him in a moment. But first, what's the story behind YGMC? KK, YGMC, break down the acronym and just give us the story behind the company name.
YGMC is Y Generation Management Consulting. It's an entrepreneurial consulting firm that mainly focuses on imparting strategies for business, and we deal a lot with ideation, product development, and operations framework improvement for businesses.
But KK, if you look at the first part of the name, one gets a sense that there's a very strong generational focus. Talk us through a little bit of that thinking.
Okay. That focus is mainly embedded in the management team. Y Generation Management Consulting is run by 3 young black individuals who are very academically strong, and the name also mentions a lot about how we provide our services and to whom do you provide the services to, and it's primarily young entrepreneurs that are actually struggling to get these professional consulting services, so we're actually there to provide them with that assistance.
I would think that you almost have a double disadvantage. On the one hand, consulting, there's a lot of questions about what do consulting firms actually do. And then there's also, of course, the disadvantage of that you're black. Those who do accept consultancy almost want to think that white consulting firms are stronger. So how are you dealing with this double disadvantage if you're encountering it at all?
Well, I think in any business, especially as a young individual, you do come across these challenges, and how we actually deal with them, we leverage off word of mouth, and we pride ourselves in our skills and qualifications and the experience that we have, and we always say that we're not going to say much, but our work will speak for itself. So we actually go into individuals and speak to corporates and say, lend us an ear, let us show you, let us prove to you. We know that perhaps maybe our skin color might be of a disadvantage, but then can you look at the services that we're providing and how we want to impact and help the citizens of South Africa, especially within the SME space?
I'm very interested in your business model. Do you engage small and medium-sized enterprises directly, or do you go through larger corporates that they might have enterprise development partnerships with? How do you make direct contact with your clients at the end of the day?
So our business is underpinned by 3 client segments. The first segment being the SMEs themselves individually, that we actually directly engage with them, and of which that's where a lot of our revenue is coming from at the moment. Then the other segment is corporates, where we would, for example, partner with a bank or any other company and say, okay, they are doing some CSI work within the SME space, but then they don't have the expertise, whereas Y Generation Management Consulting understand that environment, and we then partner with the corporate and say, okay, you can give us the funds, and then we will make sure that we impart the necessary knowledge and skills to the people that you want to serve within the CSI space. And the other leg is your state-owned enterprises, where we actually having communications with the likes of CEDA and other government organizations. They have these programs, but then what they're struggling with is to realize a positive impact that they should be making.
So I want to come back to KK, because we're at Barclays right now, and you're in your power suit, so you're clearly at work today. How did it come about that you're an employee of Barclays and yet at the same time you're running your own management consulting firm?
So in 2014, I got an opportunity to actually take part in BYM, of which is sponsored by Barclays. By then, I was working for Anglo American as a process engineer. Then after the summit, 3 delegates and myself, we decided, let's start a business using some of the tools that we've actually collected during the summit. And from there, actually, I also did receive a call from Barclays saying that we actually liked how you engage with other delegates, your thinking process. Would you mind coming working for us? And on the first day of work, I did make it clear to them that there's a business that I've already started, and I would like to also dedicate some time to it. And we agreed on a flexible working hours, of which is actually benefiting both my working space and my business at the same time.
How difficult was that conversation? Because I know a lot of young entrepreneurs who want to follow their passions and run their businesses, but still need the stability of an income at the end of the month. And then this big conversation that has to be had. And oftentimes the conversation is not had and the entrepreneurial dream dies. How did you psych yourself up for the conversation?
Well, it wasn't an easy one. It's always more of a catch-22 type of situation. But because I actually leveraged off currently, or at that point in time, having a job, because I was still working for Anglo-American, and I told myself that if I am to move from this current job that I'm working in, and by that time I wasn't having any problems or challenges, I said I need to make sure that I also get something out of the next job that I'm going to be working in. And I told myself there's no better time than now to have those courageous conversations. If your employer is not willing to actually afford you the time to do something that you're passionate about, then I guess I would have decided otherwise of joining the business, you know. But also, I think it's very important, especially in the era that we're living in, your output it shouldn't be measured by the number of hours you spend at work. And that's the benefit of having flexible hours. As long as I come into work, I deliver on what I'm mandated to do.
But how much of this is actually driven by the corporate culture that you're walking into? I mean, I think we say these lovely things, but then you find yourself in the work environment, and then you find that the culture doesn't allow for that lateral thinking. The culture is not open to output not being measured by the number of hours that you are in the workplace. How important is corporate culture to allowing young entrepreneurs to really actually pursue their own passions, which in the end might actually complement what they're doing at work?
I think it's very important, and especially I'm speaking from a Y generation perspective. We are a generation that likes to multitask. We don't want to do one thing over and over again. And at the same time, we're a generation that actually would like to be given the space of being free and actually exploring your own thoughts. But at the same time, making sure that you deliver on what you're mandated to do with your employer.
Let's go back to your personal journey. How did your family take this? Because I think the typical mom who sees you working at Anglo-American and then you moving to Barclays probably starts off with excitement as you're showing the news, and then you start telling her that you're going to be running something else on the side. What was the reception like to going the path that's less traveled?
It's been challenging because this is not my first business. I've had several businesses that have failed. I guess that's a tale of an entrepreneur. And when I told my parents about YGMC and said, okay, at some point in my life, I'd actually like to work for my own company, they thought I was actually going crazy. They said, you studied to be an engineer, you worked as a process engineer, next thing you're moving into the financial services, working in a corporate bank, next thing you want to quit and do your own thing. Is there everything all right with you? So it's always a matter of trying to convince my parents and let them see the vision, even though they don't understand. Even today when I tell my mom that I'm running a consulting business, like consulting for what, for who? And I'm saying for businesses, then she will tell me, how can you be a business that consults for other businesses? She doesn't even understand and get that. But I'm not being too harsh or too forward with my parents. I just slowly trying to take them through the journey and let them understand, because to be honest, for a black person, such is actually a new thing. Black people primarily were not taught to start businesses. We were taught to get up and go and work. If you're lucky, go to school, get a good profession and go work. So it's still a new thing to my family at this point in time.
If you could undo any part of your journey and almost press the rewind button, would you have walked the same entrepreneurial and personal journey as you have right now, or what the elements that you would undo?
I would have, and most probably I would have taken more risks than I've taken in my life, because early in my life I was more conservative. I was a bit laid back into taking a lot of entrepreneurial risks. You were a
party animal. It's okay, you can share that.
Not much of a party animal, but yeah, we did do a lot of going out. We still do even now, but then at least now it's motivated by, if we deliver something for YGMC, then we have a reason to go celebrate.
Let's talk about your team at YGMC. How many people are you looking at? What are the kind of skills that you brought into the business? And when we start looking forward into the growth of the team, what are some of the projections that you've put out there?
So the team is made up of 2 engineers and one legal person, and we had a financial guy, but currently he's on sabbatical. So we pride ourselves in being a director managed company that has qualifications, has a lot of corporate experience, because we believe that with the knowledge that we have acquired, the very least is actually we need to impart it on our clients, being the SMEs, and just show them how actually corporate does it, because we, in this whole corporate space, we learn how to draw up strategies, deliver good presentation, do proper project management, but the people that need it the most are the SMEs, and there isn't a platform for them to actually exercise that and enhance the existence of YGMC.
You and I are meeting up somewhere 5 years from now. I'm assuming we're not at Barclays, we're in your headquarters somewhere. Talk me through what this consulting firm would have achieved by then.
By then, we would have grown several businesses from just being SMEs to global corporates, because that's our aim. We want to move SMEs from just being categorized as SMEs to them being corporate, so that they can positively and significantly contribute to the economy of South Africa. So that's one of the missions that we've put forward, saying that as a business, this is what we want to achieve, be an impactful consulting services company.
Well, guys, there you have it, the CEO of Y Generation Management Consulting, and clearly bringing some really insightful thoughts of a young black entrepreneur straddling the corporate space in South Africa and trying to make a difference within small and medium-sized enterprises. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've certainly enjoyed the conversation with KK. Now, remember, if you want me and the Young Money crew to come to you, all you need to do is just follow me on Twitter. It's at The Real Nosy or at CNBC Africa, and don't forget the hashtag. It's Young Money 410. Until next time, it's goodbye.